Hi friends, today is lesson 16 and this lesson focuses on patterns that use 0 and 1 with multiplication and division. So I know a lot of people think, oh, 0 and 1, those are so easy, but when you see a lot of problems like this, it can really trip you up. So remember what you know about multiplication, where you've got a number of groups times the size of the group, that gives you the total. And then division, you're taking the total, dividing it by one or the other, the number of groups or the size of the group, and you're getting the remainder. In this case, since it's just equations, we don't know for the division what's the number of groups and the size. So how many groups of 1 do we need to get 6? Hopefully that pops in your head real quickly. 6. So any number times 1 is that number. Letter B. What divided by 7 is 0? So in this case, one way to think about it is, how many things, if I divide them into 7 groups, gives me 0 in each group? Well, 0. Or 0 times 7 is 0. Okay, if I don't have anything, and I put them in 7 groups, I still don't have anything. Okay? All right, 8 times what is 8? Well, when we have our answers the same as our number of groups, the missing factor has to be 1. 9 things divided into how many groups give us 9 in each group? Well, the only answer there could be 1. Or 9 things, putting 1 in each group gives us 9 groups. That's, to me, is where it gets a little tricky, like B and D. All right, E is very similar to letter B. If I have nothing, it doesn't matter how many groups or what the size of the group is, I'm going to end up with nothing. Letter F, now this is kind of a fun one because we know that any number times 0 is 0, so you could put any number in here. So I'm just going to pick a number, 38. Okay? You can put 1,000, 162, it doesn't matter. Right here we've got 4 things. And I want to know, one way to think about it is how many groups do I need to have 1 in each group? I need 4 groups. So when you're dividing, if these two are the same, your answer is 1. Or 1 times 4 is 4. All right. What number times 1 gives you 3? 3, similar to letter A. And then letter I, any number times 0 is always 0. Okay, so that's our start using 0s and 1s. Now, let's get into the mice. We have to match each equation with its solution. So we've got unknowns. We have to draw some lines to the cheese. So 1 times what is 3? Well, 1 times 3 has to give me 3. What divided by 4 is 0? I love 0. 0's the hero. So to get nothing, I have to start with nothing. 1 times 6. Well, any number times 1 gives us that number. So this has to be 6. Any number divided by itself is always 1, which is over here. What number times 1 is 9? 9. And then what number divided by 1 is 8? Or 8 times 1 is 8. That's how I like to solve that problem. All right, moving on, same idea. Complete the blanks below with the product. So what we're doing is we're doing 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 1 is 4. 5 times 1 is 5. 6 times 1 is 6. 7 times 1 is 7. 8 times 1 is 8. 9 times 1 is 9. So what pattern do you notice? A lot of times what we say is, oh, it goes up by 1. But think beyond that. What's the other pattern that you see? Are you noticing that this number of groups matches the answer? This is showing our rule where any number times 1 gives you that number. So we need to write that. So We can say the product, which is the answer, is the same as the factor that isn't 1. Okay. The only place where that's a little confusing is where it's 1 times 1. But I could have said the product is the same as the number of groups, but you could have this reversed. So that would mean the size of the group. So we'll just say the product is the same as the factor that isn't 1. All right, number 2. Josie says that any number divided by 1 equals that number. Write a division equation using n to represent Josie's statement. Okay, so we know that the n stands for any number. So I'm going to say, she says any number, so n divided by 1 equals that number, which is n. Now we need to write the related multiplication equation that you can use to check your division equation. Okay, well, we know multiplication is reverse of division, right? So we could say n times 1 equals n. Actually, that's what we just found out here. This is n times 1 equals n, where this is any number times 1 equals the same number we started with, right? Okay, we can also put numbers in here, like let's do 3. 3 divided by 1 equals 3. Well, that's true. If I have 3 cookies, and I put 1 in each group, I end up with 1, 2, 3 groups. So let's use 3 down here now. 3 times 1 equals 3. Is that true? Yeah. If I have 3 groups, 1 in each group, that gives me 3 total things. So that's how you can show what Josie's talking about. All right. Hey, that's it for today. So go ahead and get started on your Lesson 16 homework.